Hi, and welcome back to the Artist podcast. If you're new here, my name is Angie. I'm a full time freelance makeup artist and educator, and I help makeup artists build real, sustainable careers with practical, no nonsense education. Today, we are diving into a question I get asked all the time. And the question is, how do I stand out as a makeup artist when there are so many other makeup artists out there, when the industry is so oversaturated? And I get it. It can feel overwhelming scrolling through social media, seeing a number of artists showcasing their work, and you're sitting there wondering, where do I fit in? So, if you've ever felt this way, you are not alone. And in this episode, we're going to talk about shifting your perspective, finding your ideal clients, and making real connections that lead to opportunities. First things first, let's shift how you're looking at the industry. Yes, there are a lot of makeup artists, but that is because there is demand for us. Whether it's in bridal, commercial, film, or special events, people are hiring artists for stuff every single day. Instead of seeing competition when you look at social media, think about it this way. There is a place for everyone, but the key is carving out what your unique place is going to be in all of this. I remember, like it was yesterday, feeling so behind when I started. And that's because I was. I didn't have formal training. I felt like everyone else knew some sort of secret formula about building a career and success that I didn't. But what helped me was focusing on the fundamentals. I kind of had to go back to basics and teach myself all of these things like color theory, like figuring out hygiene and all of that. Also, it's important to remember that this career takes many years to develop before it becomes the career that you've been dreaming of. I hope this makes sense. And where you start is not necessarily where you'll finish because it's a constant evolution. It takes time, it takes patience and commitment to really see this through. So I think if you're feeling this way or if you're relating to anything I've said already in this podcast, take a second to think about what your strengths are so far and what you enjoy doing most when it comes to makeup application. That is what you're going to lean into to find where your value sort of lives. I think it's important to focus on your ideal clients and not just a niche. A lot of artists get stuck trying to find their niche, and I'm doing air quotes right now. And while having a niche can be beneficial, it's not always realistic when you're freelancing. Finding a profitable niche takes time, it takes trial and error, and it's a very long process. Instead, I recommend focusing on who your ideal clients are. And I use clients specifically because there are going to be multiple types of people that you're going to want to work with. Think about the specific types of people, brands, work environments that you want to be a part of, whether it's working with brides who want a natural makeup look, collaborating with fitness brands on shoots, or doing makeup for corporate headshots. Getting clear on who you want to work with will help you narrow your focus, guide your decisions, and help set you apart from other makeup artists. Another thing to consider if you're constantly looking up other makeup artists' work online, social media sites like Instagram, it's just going to keep feeding you more of that content, making it feel even more oversaturated than maybe it already is. And while the industry is competitive, that is something that is very true about this career choice. Remember that not everyone can sustain a professional career long term. Commitment and persistence are really what sets pro makeup artists apart. I wanted to give you some actionable tips in this podcast as well that you can either write down or just make note of. I already mentioned taking a moment to think about and list your strengths and what you enjoy doing most in makeup. So that is where you're going to start to find where your value is. The other thing you may want to do is write down the characteristics of your ideal client, what they do, who they are, what their expectations are, and how you can meet those expectations better than anyone else. Next, let's talk about networking. Standing out isn't just about what you post on social media, it's about who you connect with in real life. Some of my best opportunities have come from relationships with photographers, wedding planners, other makeup artists. Remember, most clients are going to book artists that they feel a connection with or who are recommended by someone that they trust. So it's important that you get out there, you assist. If there's industry events that you can attend, go to them. Follow up with the people that you meet. A simple follow up message can sometimes turn what is a quick and casual meeting into a potential future opportunity. The networking piece is very, very important. You can't sit at home all day and hope for things to happen. You have to go out and make things happen. It goes without saying that social media is a powerful tool, but it only is going to be helpful for you if you're using it intentionally. You don't have to post daily to be successful. I've talked about this before. It's not about going viral, it's about focusing on content that builds trust and authority with your potential clients. And I wanted to give you an example of three of the types of posts that can work to help you do that. Behind the scenes content that just shows your process, not just the final look. It shows that you're actually out doing the thing, applying makeup on people, you have clients. Client testimonials is another post that works really well. And this is specifically for those of you that are in bridal or are doing any personal services. You can let your clients speak on your behalf. People love reading client testimonials. And I talked about referrals with you. So a client testimonial is kind of like a referral. And then there's educational posts that you can share where you can share some tips on social about your expertise, certain products that you like, all that type of thing. Something that you can do if you haven't done this already is really take a look at the type of content that you're planning for the next week, month, year, whatever it is, and choose two or three content pillars and really stick to them, whether it's education, behind the scenes, regular client testimonials. Consistency and quality of post is going to matter more than trying to post 4 or 5 times a day because the goal is not to go viral, it's to attract your ideal clients. I shared a post about this on the Artist to Artist Instagram. I think it was maybe 2 weeks ago. It's about perfectionism. And I think a lot of artists really hold themselves back because they feel like they're not good enough yet or their work isn't perfect. And here's the truth, no one is perfect, and growth takes a ton of time. I have made mistakes. I still continue to make mistakes. But the key is that you continue learning and improving with each experience and with each mistake that you make. Clients do not need perfection, and I really need you to hear me when I say this. It doesn't exist, and we have to be honest here. If you're not 100% committed to the ups and downs of this career, you are going to struggle to see what it really takes to succeed. Makeup artistry is a career that is filled with challenges, but the ones who can stick with it, ride the wave, learn from those mistakes are the ones who are going to stand out and thrive. Skill is a big part of what we do as makeup artists. You have to be good at makeup if you do want to stand out. It doesn't mean you have to be perfect. It just means that your work has to be at a pro level. And you're not going to get there without making those mistakes. So you got to just go for it eventually. And it's going to be very helpful for you to seek feedback on your work, whether it is from a mentor, a makeup artist friend that you might have. Constructive feedback will help you grow faster than trying to figure everything out alone and with trial and error. Believe me, I've been down that path. This is another thing that is going to really help you start to stand out, develop your style as an artist, correct those mistakes that a lot of new makeup artists make. You need someone that has more experience to look at your work to help you evolve and become better. To recap what I just went through in this episode, standing out as a makeup artist comes down to shifting your mindset. You have to believe there's room for you in the industry, or there is no point to any of this. Focus on your ideal clients to find opportunities and really lean into what you can do to stand out to those people. Don't worry about anybody else. You want to build relationships that will lead to real opportunities. So, finding people who are aligned with you, with your work ethic, with the type of work that you want to do, this is very important. Your marketing has to be authentic with intention, not just posting randomly whatever comes to your mind. That's not smart marketing. So, you're going to look like everybody else that's not paying attention to their marketing. And lastly, it's about embracing your growth and progress over perfection. I really hope today's episode resonated with you. I would love to hear your thoughts if it did. You can DM me on Instagram. You can leave a comment on YouTube. I will share some resources with you in the show notes if you are looking for some more direction, feedback in your career. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. And I think something else I want you to remember, standing out as a makeup artist doesn't mean being the loudest, having the most followers. Sometimes all it means is being valuable to your clients, okay? So take that with you, remember this, and I will talk to you next week. Bye.